In this video, we are going to learn about polymorphism in PHP. To begin with, polymorphism is gotten from the Greek words poly, which means many, and morphism, which means forms. So if we just break down the word polymorphism as poly and morphism, then poly means many and morphism means forms. That means many forms. Polymorphism portrays an example in object-oriented programming where methods in various classes that do similar things should have a similar name. So this is the important principle of polymorphism, that the methods in various classes that do similar things should have a similar name. Polymorphism is essentially an OOP pattern that enables numerous classes with different functionalities to execute or share a common interface. We can implement polymorphism either using abstract classes or interfaces. So in this video, we will be implementing polymorphism using an interface. An interface is similar to a class except it cannot contain code. An interface can define method names and arguments but cannot but not the contents of the method. Okay, so an interface can only contain the method signature. We can only declare the method signature, that's all. We cannot write any code inside an interface other than declaring the method signature. And once an interface is created, we can implement that interface in various classes in order to implement polymorphism. Okay, so this is actually the main principle, that the methods in various classes that do similar things should have a similar name. But theoretically, it might sound a bit complex. So let's see this in an IDE. So here we will just look at that example of polymorphism practically to just clear the concepts. Okay, so what I'll do is we'll make PHP tags. Okay, and here I will make two classes. First is a class circle, and second, let's make the class called rectangle. Now, what these two classes will do, this class will calculate the area of a circle and this class will calculate the area of a rectangle. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just create one variable called $radius. Okay, and here I will just create one method, public function sign value. Okay, now what this method will do, it will assign a value to this variable. Whatever value that we have passed will be stored inside this variable called radius, and then the area of the circle will be calculated. Okay, so we will have two methods, public, and we will just create one more method called calculate area. Okay, so this method will just assign value to this variable, and this method will calculate the area of the circle. Same thing we will be doing here. I will just create two variables here, $width and we have $height. Now why these two variables? That because in order to calculate the area of a rectangle, we need width and height. And in case of circle, we need radius because the formula is pi r square. And in case of rectangle, the formula is width into height. So here I will create two methods. If one will be used for assigning values, assign values, and the other method will be to calculate area. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll first create the object of these two classes. Let's create the object for the class circle. So I'll just name it CIR, new circle. And let's create the object for class rectangle. Okay, so we have created the object. Now what we'll do is we'll just call these methods assign value. Okay, we'll just call this method dollar assign value, and I'll just pass here value 5. Now why only one parameter? That's because I only want one value for radius. Okay, so what I'll do is when the user will pass this value, any value, this value will be stored uh, inside an argument. So let's uh, write one argument. I will just write $var. So this value 5 will be stored inside this argument $var, and then we'll just assign that value to this variable using this keyword. Okay, so let's go radius is equal to $var. So basically I'm assigning the value which is stored inside this variable to this variable radius. Similar thing I will do in case of rectangle. I will just call this method assign values, and in this case I will pass two values because I need two values, for one for width and one for height. Okay, so I will have to take two arguments. Okay, one for width and one for height. I'll just say $var1 $var. Okay, and now I'll just assign them to this variable with $var1 and this height $var2. So now these two values have been assigned to these two variables, width and height. So now width variable is holding the value 3 and this is holding the value 4, and the variable radius is holding the value 5. Okay, so see. Okay, so now we will just calculate the area. So I'll just return the value, return pi r square, right? The formula is pi r square. So I will just say this radius into this radius into, we have a function called pi, inbuilt function in PHP, which will return us the value of pi. Okay, so the value of pi is 3.142 and some more decimals, but we usually consider 3 decimals. So now the formula to calculate area of rectangle is width into height. So I'll just return this width into this height. Okay, so these two values I'm returning. Okay, so I'll, while calling, I will just print out so that the values can be printed onto the screen. So I'll just say echo $CIR, and I'll just call that method calculate area. Okay, and same thing for here. I'll just first break the line. Okay, so that both of them gets printed onto the separate line. O $rec, then calculate. So now what we have done is, here we have a method which is doing a similar thing, right? It is doing a similar task of calculating the area in both the classes. Though the functionality is different, here we are using the formula pi r square, here we are using width into height. So the functionality is different, but the purpose is same, right? It is doing the same thing to calculate the area. So that's why I have given the similar name calculate area to both of these methods. So we can have as many classes as we want. Okay, for just simplicity, I have taken two classes. Okay, so this is what polymorphism says. We have to give out the same name to this method, okay, which is used to do the similar task, right? It is calculating area for circle and this is calculating area for rectangle. So now let's implement that using interface. Now in order to create an interface, use the keyword interface followed by the name. Let's keep it as shape. And here we have to just declare the method signature, that is public function calculate area. So this is called as the method signature. Okay. And we can have more than one method as well. Let's say if I have two methods with similar names in both the classes, then I have to declare both these methods. But now since I have only one method, I am just declaring only one method over here. And here we have to implement this interface in every class. So we'll say implements shape. The syntax is quite easy, just we have to use the keyword implements and then the name of the name of an interface. Okay, so I guess our code is done. Now let's execute it. So we'll just go to browser. Let's reload this. Okay. So as you can see, 78.53, this is the area of circle and this is the area of rectangle. 3 4 are 12. So this is the area of rectangle. Okay, so this is the concept of polymorphism and we have implemented that using an interface. Interface is very easy. Just use the interface keyword and then keep any name, whatever you want to keep, and just declare the method signature here. And then you can implement that interface in every class using the keyword implements. Okay. So this was all about polymorphism in PHP. Thank you.